Hello everyone! Now a while back you might remember that I showed you my recipe for cookie cup cupcakes, which was a bit of a mouthful, it still is. And since then we have been mixing it up and developing loads of different versions of that at Crumbs Doilies, and we sell them in the shop. And I'm going to show you one of our latest versions, which is the Biscoff cheesecake cookie cup. Yeah. It was easy that time. So I'm going to start by making the cookie part of it. It's very simple. I'm first of all going to start creaming together some butter and sugar. So I've got 55 grams of soft unsalted butter, and I'm going to add 85 grams of light soft brown sugar and also 20 grams of demerara sugar for a bit of texture. And then I'm going to beat that only just to combine it, not till it's pale and fluffy or anything. Right, that looks pretty good. Now the next thing I'm going to add is half an egg. Now I know you guys know how I like to split my eggs up because I always have large eggs in my store cupboard. The way that you split an egg is you get a bowl onto your electric scales, which by now you definitely have, right? And then you crack an egg into it, whisk it up a little bit, and then divide that weight by 2 and then split it in half basically. So the good thing about this recipe is we're going to be using the other half of the egg in the filling of these cookie cups. So for now, just put your half egg and a half teaspoon of vanilla into your mixture and give it a good mix. Now that that's all come together, I'm going to put my dry ingredients in, and I've got 125 grams of plain flour. I've also got a quarter teaspoon each of cinnamon, salt and bicarbonate of soda, and that's all going to go in and get folded about. I'm also going to be putting in 50 grams of finely chopped white chocolate, and then put that onto a low speed and fold it all in so it's really well combined. Right, that's a nice dough now, so it is time to put it into my cupcake tin. Now obviously this is a mini cupcake tin, just the regular ones that we use at Crumbs Doilies. You can find these normally in 12-hole tin size, and because they're quite small, I'm going to be measuring my dough balls that I'm going to put in them to 15 grams using, you guessed it, my favourite tool in the kitchen. Everyone knows it is my electric scales. What is it, everyone?
Electric scales!
Thank you. So please go and get some electric scales if you haven't already, because they are basically the best thing that you could ever have in a kitchen, apart from ingredients and an oven. So I'm going to be using my hands for rolling, and I've got my scales here, and I'm going to measure my 15 grams and pop them into my tin. So now I've got my full tray of 24 mini cookie balls, but I need to make them cookie cups. So I'm going to be using my little rolling pin. You can use anything similar, of a similar size, and all I'm going to do is press down into the middle of these. Now what that's going to do is push the walls of my cookie cup up and the base of it down, but you want to be very careful not to push it too far down because you might get holes in your base then, and that'll be a very bad thing. So proceed with caution. So all my little cookie cups are molded and cup-like. Now we need something to fill them, so I'm going to make a really simple cheesecake filling. I have 145 grams of cream cheese. I've also got my trusty half an egg. I've also got 30 grams of caster sugar and the most important ingredient, and that is Biscoff, which if you don't know what it is, then you're crazy and you're really missing out. It's this stuff. It's Lotus Biscoff spread, otherwise known as cookie spread. There are some other brands that do a similar thing, but this is the best stuff. So I've got 50 grams of that. That's going in, and then I'm going to beat it all up till it's nice and thick. Okay, so my cheesecake mixture has thickened up quite a lot, and now I get to put it in a piping bag. And now I'm just going to snip the end off and fill my little cookie cups about halfway to 2/3 of the way full. So now I'm just going to bake these at 170 degrees C for about 10 minutes. I'm back and my cheesecake cookie cups are out of the oven and they've cooled down, and they do look a little bit strange at this point, so don't be alarmed. They're not supposed to look pretty right now because we're going to cover them in delicious pretty stuff. So I've actually made some Swiss Meringue Buttercream. I've made it Biscoff flavour. You can top these with regular buttercream. You don't even need to top these with any kind of cream. But I really like Swiss Meringue, and that's what we do in the shop. And the way that I made that is by using my Swiss Meringue recipe, and I will put the link to that down there and up there. And you just need to make a half batch of that, and instead of putting in vanilla extract, you put in 150 grams of Biscoff at the end, and that will make you some delicious Biscoff Swiss Meringue Buttercream. So I'm just going to pop that into a piping bag so that I can blob it on top of my cheesecakes. And now on top of each of my cheesecakes, just a little blob of this good stuff. And now to finish them off, I've actually just put a little bit of Biscoff spread into the microwave just for like 30 seconds or a minute to loosen it up so it's kind of runny and dribbly. And I'm going to dip these little guys into that and then top them off with a little bit of biscuit. And that is my finished Biscoff cheesecake cookie cup, and I am so excited about eating this, guys, so I'm not going to waffle on, but I will just say that these are going to be in the shop, in the Crumbs Doilies shop in Soho, all weekend, and maybe even some other variations on our cookie cup, so head on down there. You can also get all of my merch at the shop, so if you haven't got that yet, then please go and get some, but if you can't get to the shop, then you can get it all on my website, cupcakejemma.com. So I will be back next week with another recipe, and I will see you then. Bye! Oh my goodness. So lovely.